Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here today. My name is Amy Chiravalati, and I am the Executive Director of the Wakefield Alliance Against Violence. The Wakefield Alliance Against Violence is a volunteer, community-based organization dedicating to creating a lifestyle free from violence in Wakefield by reaching out to the community, raising awareness, and providing education, resources, and support to families and individuals with an emphasis on prevention. Our goal is to end all violence, and we truly appreciate all of you being here today to help us take a pledge to end violence against women and all gender-based violence. Far too often today, we are hearing stories in the news about incidents of violence, domestic violence, and violence against women. Your presence here today is an important step in saying we do not condone this violence, and we will not stay silent about this epidemic. We will work together to ensure that all women, men, and children can live in a world free from violence and abuse. The White Ribbon Campaign is a global movement of men and boys working to end male violence against women and girls. It was formed by a group of men in London, Ontario, in November 1991 as a response to a massacre of female students at a university in Canada. The campaign was intended to raise awareness about the prevalence of male violence against women. Active in over 60 countries, this movement seeks to promote healthy relationships, gender equity, and a compassionate vision of masculinity. WAAV is proud to support, promote, and endorse this movement to help end all violence against women and gender-based violence. A special thank you today to DPW for setting this all up for us, to WCAT for hosting our monthly meetings and for their work here today, to our youth groups, Unite, Youth Action Team, and Youth Council who are here today, MAVE, SAVE, and Respond Inc., and a special thank you to Town Administrator Steve Mayo, Chief Steve Scory, Town Councilor Bob Vincent, Representative Kate Lipper-Garabedian, Superintendent Doug Lyons, Town Councilor Ed Dombrowski, and Deputy Chief Craig Calabrese for being here today. And thank you, all of you, for helping WAAV in this important movement. Now I would like to introduce Town Councilor and avid WAAV supporter and champion, Ed Dombrowski.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Town Councilor Ed Dombrowski, and I would like to welcome all of you here for this very special White Ribbon Campaign. And I really want to give a shout out to Wakefield Alliance Against Violence, who every day does just an absolutely incredible job of trying to keep our community safe and raise awareness of issues that are incredibly important to each and every resident. This ceremony is a very important one, and it's steeped in decades of tradition dating back some now 33 years. As Amy had mentioned, the White Ribbon Campaign began back in 1991 in Canada following a horrific mass shooting where 14 female students were killed and 10 others injured at a Montreal university, now infamously referred to as the Montreal Massacre. A group of men saw this as a call to action and organized an effort to raise awareness on the epidemic of violence against women and girls and all gender-based violence. And wow, have their efforts paid off. What started as a small campaign in Canada has now grown into a worldwide movement with participants now spanning over 60 countries. So throughout this month, in large cities and small towns, just like ours here in Wakefield, men and boys are taking part in a very similar event as we are today. The signature of the White Ribbon Campaign is something very simple, a pledge. Now, a common word defined as a solemn promise or undertaking. The word pledge to most of us is just used in daily life, but probably never given much thought about its true meaning. Well, here, all of us today are taking a solemn promise or undertaking by making this pledge and having it carry a very significant, potentially life-saving importance. Through your words and those of so many other boys and men of all different ages, backgrounds, nationalities, and faiths, You are publicly taking a stand to never commit, condone, or stay silent on issues of violence against women and girls and all form of gender-based violence. And it is especially fitting that this commitment happens each March, coinciding with both International Women's Day, which we just celebrated last week, and of course, Women's History Month. Now, as time passes, it seems almost human nature to let the memory of tragedies fade from our consciousness, doesn't it? We are so often living in the moments that our focus shifts to the present, or maybe just the more recent past. So when we hear about a tragedy that occurred some 33 years ago, it may seem distant past, before many of you were even born, in a faraway place, and it would be easy to not feel a strong connection to it today. But while that tragedy in Montreal itself may not be top of mind for many of you, the movement it inspired very much should be. Violence against women and girls is an often unspoken, yet ever-present part of daily society. Every one of you here right now knows a woman or a girl who has been or will be the victim or a survivor of some form of violence, and you likely don't even realize it. Not surprisingly, more than half of the cases of domestic violence are never reported to police. After all, this is, for so many, a silent epidemic. And the vast majority of domestic violence victims and survivors are female. So while we'll never know the full extent of the violence, the statistics we do have already tell a deeply troubling picture. And here are just a few examples. About 1/3 of women experience some form of sexual violence during their lifetimes. On average, more than 3 women are murdered per day by an intimate partner in the US. Worldwide, on average, more than 5 women and girls are killed every hour by their intimate partners or someone in their own family. 20% of female US high school students report being physically or sexually abused by an intimate partner. Here in Wakefield, a survey of our high schoolers revealed that 18% of respondents experienced dating violence in the form of emotional abuse or control. And in that same survey, 12% of students reported sexual violence, higher than the 10% average for the Middlesex League students. 1 in 4 women will experience physical violence by their intimate partner at some point in their lifetimes. Nearly 20 people are physically abused by an intimate partner each minute of the day in the US. On a typical day, domestic violence hotlines receive more than 20,000 phone calls in our country. And 55% of all female homicides are committed by intimate partners or other family members. These are sobering statistics, to be sure. Now, this epidemic of violence doesn't know zip codes or incomes or talents in the classroom or even prowess on the playing fields. Rather, it is pervasive everywhere, including right here in Wakefield, because no community is immune. Now, in my role as town councilor, I have had many residents reach out to me over the years, concerned for a friend, a family member, a neighbor, a loved one, or for someone who just didn't seem like they were doing okay. Having been committed to the cause of raising awareness and ending domestic violence for nearly 25 years now myself, I've really come to appreciate the many forms that abuse and violence can take. Now, those that can be identified are usually the tragedies that make the newspaper headlines or social media news feeds. But the vast majority of incidents are far more subtle, happening behind closed doors and often harder to spot. And it may be happening to your friends, your neighbors, your classmates, family members, teachers, local coffee shop barista, cashier at the pizza shop, or even someone else without you even knowing. We are incredibly fortunate in Wakefield to have such amazing supports and resources within our community, however. In addition to WAAV, we have our outstanding police department, who is well trained in helping residents experiencing situations of domestic violence and sexual assaults. And That is important, as statistics show that an increase in domestic violence calls in recent years are happening right here in our own community. In one such analysis, there were over 300 identified domestic violence calls in 1 year, an increase of over 30% over a 3-year period. Our police work with some of the bravest of our residents, those who find the courage in their most vulnerable states of fear and uncertainty to use their voice to go from victim to survivor. But we also must realize that there are so many others who quietly suffer in silence, paralyzed by many factors: fear, self-doubt, intimidation, or even feeling of shame. Our police department, along with our Health and Human Services department, have a steadfast commitment every single day to help our neighbors and friends who are in need, connecting them with often life-saving resources and supports. In our middle and high schools, we have exceptional teams working to educate to promote healthy relationships, to combat the control dynamics between young men and women in their own dating relationships. Technology ranging from social media to instantaneous communication via text or chats, even location tracking on smartphones has now opened up a whole new challenge in healthy boundary setting for our youngest relationships. In so many ways, Wakefield is a leader standing up to violence and abuse in all of its forms. We have so much to be proud of as a community in our efforts. I strongly believe that we are, in many ways, a model for our region and for our Commonwealth, and setting the example for others to follow. Yet, despite all of our dedication, our tireless work, so much more needs to be done. But all forms of violence can be overcome through courage and leadership. Each of you here today are showing both. From our high school students to our department personnel, our elected officials to our residents of all generations, this is a cause that you are leading. You are each a model of what it means to be not just a member of a community, but a leader within it. And I thank you for that. Going forward, I hope each of us, men and boys of all ages and backgrounds, will carry with you from this ceremony the important words of the pledge that is about to be taken. As the saying goes, your word is your bond. Let the words you pledge today serve as a selfless act that will make a profound impact in the years to come. Because we do this not for ourselves, but rather for the women and girls who bring the meaning to our lives. Our mothers, our sisters, our teachers, our daughters, our classmates, our wives, our nieces, our grandmothers, our girlfriends, our granddaughters, our neighbors, our friends, and all of those women and girls who we don't even know. Think about those special women in your own lives and the impact that you're having, both on them and the lives of everyone just like them. Never commit, never condone, always speak out. And with that, I'd like to introduce our Chief of Police, Stephen Scory.
Thank you, Ed. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you to WAAV for organizing today's White Ribbon Campaign event. This event serves as a reminder that violence against women is a societal issue that must be addressed by everyone. To address domestic violence, we must understand what it is. Domestic violence is the willful intimidation, physical assault, battery, sexual assault, or other abusive behaviors as part of a systematic pattern of power and control perpetrated by one intimate partner against another. It includes physical violence, sexual violence, threats, and emotional abuse. The National Coalition Against Domestic Violence has provided some sobering facts on domestic violence against women in Massachusetts. 33.9% of Massachusetts women have experienced some form of physical violence by an intimate partner. In 2018, domestic violence accounted for 20% of all violent crime. 96% of the victims in intimate partner murder-suicides are female. 1 in 7 women have been injured by an intimate partner. 1 in 10 women have been raped by an intimate partner. 1 in 7 women have been stalked by an intimate partner during their lifetime to the point in which they felt fearful or believed that they or someone close to them would be harmed or killed. How significant are the impacts of domestic violence? The impacts of intimate partner violence are both mental and physical. Studies suggest there is a relationship between intimate partner violence and depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and suicidal behavior. Intimate partner violence may have health effects such as gastrointestinal problems, neurological disorders, chronic pain, as well as non-communicable diseases such as hypertension, cancer, and cardiovascular disease. Victims of domestic violence are also at higher risk for developing addictions to alcohol, tobacco, or drugs. Gender-based violence needs to end, and we all play an important role in achieving that goal. If you have a friend or family member experiencing domestic violence, your job is to believe them, listen to them without judgment, offer support, encouragement, and help them develop a safety plan. Let's end the culture of silence around domestic violence. Educate yourself about gender-based violence, speak out against victim blaming, and if you suspect someone is being abused, report it to the police. We need to help survivors escape their abusers by fostering connections in the community, increasing support for women and children experiencing domestic violence through the funding of services, and advocate for safe and affordable housing. Finally, let's end the cycle of domestic violence. Offer support and encouragement to a child exposed to or experiencing domestic violence. Most importantly, model respect and equality in your own relationships. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Scory. I would like to next introduce Steve Mayo, our town administrator, with remarks from the town.
Thank you, Councilor Nabrowski. Thank you for WAAV for putting on this very important event. And I also want to thank you for the opportunity to say a few words today about the ever-present issue of domestic violence against women in our society. It is so easy for us to dismiss men's violence against women as something that happens over there, despite all the statistics that we heard today. We think it happens over there, away from us, or something that occupies the third story on the evening news. Let's start by saying that this horrible element of our society is relevant to all of us, and it is a big problem. So let's flip the script and see if we can tackle this scourge before it grows any bigger. Let's aim at stopping this behavior within our generation, or maybe your generation for some of our younger people here today, and I'm so happy to see so many of you to be here for this important event. So how do we do this? How do we stop this? Let's first of all remove the vile influence of gender stereotypes in our lives. We can do this by saying no to comments from other men, sadly, usually older in our lives, regarding the place of women. No to media, including social media posts, which degrade women in any sense of the word. No to the utilization of language designed to make men feel superior to women, because it's wrong and because we are not. No to perpetuating double standards. We can stop this by not merely speaking, but living the white ribbon pledge that we're going to say in a few minutes. So let's truly embrace the words and meaning. More importantly, let's change our behavior. We need to be the change so we can eradicate this scourge in our society before any more women suffer. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve, for those remarks. I did also want to introduce our fire chief, Chief Sullivan, who is also here in attendance. Next, I would like to introduce Representative Caitlin Bergerabedian. Representative Donald Wong sends his regrets for being unable to appear here today.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you, even if it is for a somber occasion. As Councilor Dombrowski mentioned, Representative Wong sends his regrets, as does Senator Lewis, who is at the State House today. I'm pleased to speak on behalf of a Wakefield delegation that is so appreciative to work with such strong local leaders as the members of WAAV, our public safety officials, elected officials, and the town administrator, and with all of you working together to try our best to end gender-based violence. In the legislature just this year, Representative Wong and I were proud to support a bill related to coercive control, which I know has been a critical priority for WAAV and Maeve, who's here as well from Melrose and other like-minded groups. This is so critically important because, as we've heard today from Councilor Dombrowski and Chief Scory and Administrator Mayo, violence is not only physical, it's also coercive. It's about control. And we want to ensure that we give our public safety officials and survivors all the tools necessary to be able to step away from a controlling and unhealthy relationship and live and thrive their best life. The Senate just today, very timely indeed, has announced it will be taking up that bill next week. That shows a lot of momentum toward getting this bill to the governor's desk for her signature. We all in the Wakefield State Delegation look forward to continuing to work with you on this, and again are so proud and honored to get to represent such an important community of leaders, advocates, and experts. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Representative Lippert-Garabedian. I would like to next introduce two Wakefield High School students, Mark Gagne and Wesley Chia.
A few of the goals of White Ribbon Month are to raise awareness about gender-based violence, specifically about men's violence against women, and to promote healthier relationships, gender equity, and a kinder social definition of masculinity. As a young man still in high school, I care about the example that I set for others and strive to be someone who makes good decisions, looks out for others, and calls out hurtful behaviors that can contribute to violence, discrimination, or toxic masculinity. I also care about mental health. As a student, athlete, and young person in general, I can attest to how stressful life can be at times. If we're not taking care of ourselves or we're not reaching out for help when we need it, then our overall health can suffer, and that makes it hard to be our best selves and to be the best example for others that we want to be. I'm here to say that, as men, it's okay to admit when we're not okay and that help is out there. By taking care of ourselves and asking for help, we can be better about taking care of others and stepping up to intervene against violence or discrimination. My name is Mark Gagne. I'm a junior at Wakefield High, Unite leader, and a member of the baseball team, and I promise to never commit, condone, or remain silent about men's violence against women. From this day forward, I promise to be part of the solution in ending violence against women and all gender-based violence.
Like Mark, I care about the example that I set for others and want to play an active role in not only raising awareness about gender-based violence, but also in challenging any negative treatment of others, especially women. This matters to me because I am a grandson, son, brother, and friend, and I care about the safety and well-being of all the women in my life and in my community. If they were being treated unfairly or poorly, I would want someone to step up for them. I think of that when I stand up for others. As a high school student, there are a lot of ways, big and small, that I can notice problematic behaviors and intervene. Whether it is a negative comment or post on social media, a poor attempt at a joke, or any kind of bullying, I can pay attention and take personal responsibility to call out the problem, get help if I need it, and intervene to change the behavior. Respect is important to me, and I want to ensure that others are respectful and feel respected in my community. My name is Wesley Che. I'm a junior at Wakefield High, Youth Action Team leader, and Vice President of the class of 2025, and I promise to never commit, condone, or remain silent about men's violence against women. From this day forward, I promise to be part of the solution in ending violence against women and all gender-based violence.
Thank you so much, Wisely, and Mark as well. Next, we've come to the pledge. So anyone who has the blue card, the pledge is on the back. So if anyone doesn't have one, we have more available here at the table. And I would now like to invite up Luke Greif and Henry Brown.
Please repeat after me. I promise to never commit, condone, or remain silent about men's violence against women.
I promise to never commit, condone, or remain silent about men's violence against women. From this day forward, I promise to be a part of the solution in ending violence against women and all gender-based violence.
From this day forward, I promise to be part of the solution in violence against women and all gender-based violence.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Luke and Henry. And again, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to WAAV for the work that they've done in putting together this incredible ceremony today, but also the work that they do every other day of the year. We are incredibly fortunate to have such a robust, a dedicated group of individuals, volunteers, who go above and beyond to make sure that they're ever present within our community. It means a lot to our community, and every one of those members is making a difference, as are each of you being here today. So with that, again, thank you for taking the time out of your day to be here. Again, this is White Ribbon Campaign Month, so please spread the word. If you have photos, please share them on social media so that those who may not have been able to attend can at least know that we're here, we're present, and we're leaders within our community. So Naya Shakur and Michaela Herzog will be performing Stand By Me before we end. Thank you. Sorry, putting you guys out.
One, two. When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. If the sky that we look upon should tumble and fall, and the mountains should crumble to the sea, I won't cry, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Whoa, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. If the sky that we look upon should tumble and fall, and the mountains should crumble to the sea, I won't cry, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me.
Excellent job, Naya and Michaela. Thank you both for taking part. And with that, we do conclude our ceremony. I do encourage everyone to stand by the work that WAAV is doing and stand by our neighbors and friends every day. Thank you for taking the time out of your day. Thank you for making the pledge. We do have coffee and hot chocolate donated by Derek Robertson from Honeydew at the head of the lake, as well as delicious cookies from Candarella's Bake Shop right here in town. So again, thank you. Have a great afternoon.